I've been a part of this mental health space for a hot minute now, right? About a couple years now. I've been doing mentorship, accountability. I've been in ministries. I'm out in the field. I'm kind of like a renegade, man. I don't look for a whole lot of attention. I ain't clicked up getting gang with everybody. But man, I've been seeing a lot in the Christian space, man. In the Christian space, it's hard. Like it really is hard. It's like this like crazy right wing agenda or like a crazy left wing agenda, and I'm not on either person's side. I don't do politics, social status, or economic status. You know what I'm saying? So I already know what I'm doing is going to be a lot more harder. I can't hold you. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing is going to be a lot more harder for people to understand, to convey, and to respond to, because I'm not taking an extreme side to the right or an extreme side to the left. I'm just like, hey, look, listen, y'all all wrong. Y'all all wrong. We could all learn from each other, and let's try to focus on the point at hand. You can have your right wing stuff, you can have your left wing stuff, but what is the point? I see this with a lot of men, man. Don't know how to get to the point, don't know how to open up about what they feel, and just most importantly, man, don't stand for nothing. Like, you got to stand for something. Like, here at Choosing Your Freedom, I, Caleb Harris, believe that the world will be a better place if we stop looking at dirty films, if we stop sexing everything that we saw, and just most importantly, we sat down and had conversations with people. Not to listen to respond or play ha ha, I got you, or to get into nonsensical debates, because, back in the day, debates were not just back and forth to go back and forth to be, personal or ad hominem and things like that. It was really just to convey arguments. It was to have a conversation that was going to lead to solutions. But unfortunately, with social media, it's a lot of conflict. No resolution. No resolution. So, for example, in the dating space, I see this a lot as a black man. In the dating space, man, over and over and over again, you see so many people talking about men need to do this, women need to do that, they need to do this, they need to do that, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. But no one is sitting down here just saying, hey, look, listen, we need to listen to each other. We need to find each other's attachment styles. What we need to do is stop being so quick to respond and listen to understand. Ain't nobody trying to have a conversation like that, because I'll be real with you. You have a conversation like that, it's not going to go very well, because it's always that man got to be doing this, that woman got to be doing that. And if that man did this and that woman did that, then the place would just be a lot more better. And there's some truth to that. I ain't going to hold you. There is some truth to that. But at the end of the day, we also got to understand, when you deal with another person, you deal with another person. So it's hard. It really is hard. Goes to my first point. Why is it so much harder for men to be vulnerable? Well, because we don't give men a space to be vulnerable. If a man is sitting down here talking about what he's going through in life, it's hard. It's hard, man. You're either called sexist, homophobic, racist, bigoted, this, that, and the other, which, let's be honest, it may all be true. But I've learned as a coach, I take a different approach. I work with all kinds of people, man. I don't just work with black men and brown men. I work with white men. I've been around people who are gay. I've been around people who are male, female, older, younger, all kinds of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I learned in life is this, man. A lot of men, whether they gay, they straight, they Christian, or black, brown, midnight purple, orange, high yellow, whatever you want to call it, Asian, Chinese, it don't matter, man. Every man struggles with being vulnerable. And the reason why men struggle so much with being vulnerable is because we don't have that open space to just be ourselves. I see where this is coming from. This man is lonely, lost, insecure. He dealt with a lot of hatred. He probably got thrown into a locker. You know what I'm saying? He's overweight. He's not even confident in his own worldview. Okay? So he's mad. So he's upset. So now he has to be racist, bigoted, homophobic, sexist, and deep down inside, he doesn't even really believe in this stuff anyway. That's what I've learned about people who are racist, homophobic, bigoted, even religious and sexist, especially them religious people. Them religious people, they be the worst. They always got so much to say about somebody, but don't really be saying nothing. Just be talking just to be talking. just be running their mouth and don't be saying nothing, don't want to listen to understand or listen to respond. You know, this is what I learned as a Christian. Nobody's 100% right and nobody's 100% wrong. And guess what? The world don't got all the answers either. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they get so mad, they get so upset with me as a Christian because I'm talking about vulnerability as a man. And of course, the religious people, they get really mad at me, right? They just say, all you need to do is follow Jesus. All you need to do is follow Jesus, brother. You just need to check your heart posture, brother. It's spiritual death that you're dealing with, brother. Don't forsake the assembly, brother. All this other stuff, showing all these Bible verses. The Bible this, the Bible this, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. And it's like 9 times out of 10, what I realize as a 31-year-old man, whenever somebody brings the Bible into an argument, it ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. 9 times out of 10, right? 9 times out of 10. I'm laughing because it's funny. 9 times out of 10, they wrong. 9 times out of 10, they probably getting that Bible verse wrong. They using the Bible to back up their point to put you in your place. Because how dare you, Christian man? How dare you argue against my religion? You're being rude. You're being hostile. You're being disrespectful. Who do you think you are? You are so arrogant. Who do you think you're talking to? You know, you're just soft. You just need to man up. You know, your generation, your millennial generation, and the ones who Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they get it worse than we do. They get it worse than my generation. Because they're a lot more smart than us anyway. You know, like when you start to question things, that's what I learned in life, man. We always talk about a lot of men wanting to be vulnerable, be vulnerable, be vulnerable, be vulnerable. Vulnerability comes with expressing uncomfortable feelings and emotions. Vulnerability comes with expressing opinions that other people may not necessarily agree with. That's why a lot of people don't be vulnerable. Because as soon as you express a viewpoint that other people don't agree with, woo, it's like they just pay attention, right? They come in with them pitchforks, man, and they want to light you on fire. Now, I'm not saying that people should be racist, bigoted, homophobic, and sexist. I'm not saying all that. No, you should think before you speak. You shouldn't be saying things like that. You know, so many men put on a mask. That's what I learned. A lot of men put on a mask, especially from a religious background. Now, I'm not a religious person. I'm a Christian, yes, but I'm non-denominational. I have learned while being in this Christian mental health space, or whatever the heck you want to call it, doing life coaching and recovery coaching, a lot of men are just afraid to just say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. It's like they put on this mask of, I must know everything. And then we end up getting to all these nonsensical debates. A lot of people get way too sensitive. A lot of people get way too in their feelings and emotions, which I think has to do with the food and the drugs and alcohol. But we're just going to put that to the side. We're going to put that to the side for the time's sake. You know, but at the end of the day, I think it's just because, you know, there's just so many men out here, right? So many men out here are afraid to just be themselves because they know that deep down inside, if you are your true, authentic self, you lose people. You know, you lose people. So you don't really show any vulnerability, right? You don't show any kind of vulnerability because you want to keep your friends. You want to keep your family. You want to keep people around you. Like, life is very lonely as a Christian as it is already. Life is already lonely doing a 9-to-5 job or being a business owner, an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be. When you're vulnerable with people, it comes an opportunity where they can correct you for actually being wrong. The key word is actually. Number 2, you know, they have to actually hold you accountable for the things that you're saying you're trying to get done. And number 3, you have to not be afraid, right? You have to not be afraid to say, you know what? Being uncomfortable is not a bad thing. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, which for a lot of men is a very hard thing to do, okay? The fear of feeling left out. I mean, I've seen that a lot of men, they have a fear of just being left out, which, you know, intertwines with the feelings of being vulnerable. Because, you know, if you're vulnerable with people, you'll be left out by people, right? You'll be castrated by people. You know what I'm saying? And when you're castrated by people, when you have that feeling of being left out, now it's like, I don't want to do nothing. Then those tendencies, right? Those suicidal tendencies start to happen. those mental health issues start to happen. Anxiety increases, depression increases, so many other things start to increase. And it's like, dang, this is crazy. And you know, a lot of men deep down inside, believe it or not, they want to open up about their problems. There's no man in this world that just says, hey man, I don't want to open up about my problems. I don't want to tell nobody about what's going on in my life. I don't want anyone knowing what I'm going through. No, it's not like that at all. I just think we live in a world where also too, a lot of men feel left out because they don't have a brotherhood. And unfortunately, when you come from a past where you've been screwed over by someone in the church, or you haven't had a great past with your father or your brothers, or just et cetera, you know, you've been touched inappropriately. I mean, a lot of things have happened to men. I don't think we talk enough about that. I don't think we talk enough about all the things that happen to men on a regular basis. I don't think we talk enough about that, because it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that happens to men. A lot of stuff that happens to men on a regular basis. Being touched inappropriately, being molested, you know, your father just not getting along with you, being screwed over by the church, you know, your pastor telling you that you're not a real Christian. A lot of men, they internalize these things, man. You know, and now they're these lone wolves in the faith. And I've been questioning that a lot. Like, why is it that so many men feel left out? And, you know, as Dr. Leela Africa says, if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. Okay? So what I really had to ask is, why is it that men have been left out? That's the real answer. Why is it that men feel left out? We could go on a rabbit hole all doggone day with that. But why is it that men have been left out? Well, as I said before, asking too many questions, saying the wrong things, letting the proverbial mask slip up. Okay? And as I said earlier, a man who's come from a past of being rejected, suicidal tendencies, anxiety, depression, and things like that, in the back of his head, he's always saying, you know what? I don't think I want to say anything. I don't think they want to be around me. So I think it's those self-sabotaging behaviors, those limited belief systems, those negative thinking patterns that have happened. You know, when you grow up in a childhood with a mom and a dad that just, well, let's be honest, wasn't very emotionally intelligent, always working all the time. Let's just say you've had a history of drugs and alcohol. Let's just say you had a history of PRRN. You know, these things do affect you. And I'm not saying that Jesus can't save your life. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a lot to work through. Okay? There's a lot that you're still going to be working through. You don't have to have it all figured out. Okay? That's what I'm seeing with a lot of men. So when it comes to opening up about your feelings and emotions, I don't think men have a problem with doing that. I think that men want to open up around people that they feel as if they can trust. If there's no trust there, that man ain't saying nothing. I promise you, he ain't gonna say nothing. Nothing at all. I promise you that. Yeah, you want a man to open up, you better build some trust. Build some trust. I've been doing recovery meetings now for the past like 4 months. Weekly. On Sundays. Pretty consistently. At 9 p.m. Eastern time. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. And I've been realizing, man, a lot of men come to the meetings. A lot of men don't come to the meetings. A lot of men, they think that they're going to get something out of it. They end up getting something else out of it. A lot of men think they ain't going to get nothing out of it. And that's their business. I'm not here to debate that or not. I'll be real with you. They may not get nothing out of it. That ain't my problem. I'm going to just do what God tells me to do. And that's it now. I just do what God tells me to do. Now, some people get something out of it. And some people don't get nothing out of it. And also, it's vice versa. But what I've been learning from doing these meetings for the past 4 months, a lot of men suffer in silence. A lot of men are not used to groups. A lot of men are not used to opening up about their feelings and emotions. A lot of men are actually used to ghosting calls, text messages, not doing life with one another. You know what I'm saying? No community, no nothing. I remember I was having a conversation with one brother. The brother and I was rapping, and we was talking about, how things have changed. Because he's like older. He's like 48, and I'm 31. So like he's telling me about how it was back then, how people used to just sit down and talk to one another, this, that, and the other. And it was an interesting conversation. And I was trying to tell him, hey, look, listen, because I come from the more millennial perspective. He comes from the Gen X boomer perspective. So yeah, it was interesting to hear his perspective, and I think he was interested on my perspective on how we're trying to do life with one another, and we're trying to do life with one another, but it's hard because not too many people are used to doing life online, and he's not used to doing life online. But it's like you got to learn how to adapt because it ain't like you having conversations with anybody in church, and that's what's been happening. I don't believe that online meetings replace, right? This is the key word. I don't believe that online meetings replace. Okay, we're focusing on the word replace here. Online meetings do not replace authentic in-person meetups. They don't. They do not. And I would never say that. However, we have to understand COVID has done things to people. Okay? People's mental health isn't that great. People deal with anxiety, depression. And yes, they Christian. I don't know why it's such a hard conversation for y'all to have, but there are Christians out here. Yes. There are Christian men out here who deal with depression and anxiety. I'm not saying that they don't need deliverance, but can we just have this conversation? Have you ever just figured that not every man needs deliverance? That many men just need an authentic brotherhood? Again, I'm not against deliverance. You know what I'm saying? I'm not against deliverance at all. But there's men out here who just need a brotherhood. Sometimes we, as Christians, I think we over-spiritualize a lot of stuff. I really do, man. I think we over-spiritualize a lot of stuff. It ain't that deep. It's not that deep. I'm dealing with men that can't handle confrontation. I'm dealing with men that isolate. I'm dealing with men that can't have conflict resolution skills. I'm dealing with men that don't know how to actually, come through isolation into actual authentic brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with a lot on my plate. It's not just PRN and addictions that I'm dealing with and mental health issues, right? In my personal opinion, I believe that men need accountability, mentorship, and authentic brotherhood. I think men need someone or a group of people to consistently do life with. To be held out on their crap. Hey, nah, you was wrong. Don't say that to me, man. When you said that to me, I felt like X, Y, and Z. And I appreciate it if you didn't talk to me like that again. Okay, moving forward, we're not saying that to each other anymore. I don't find that kind of sense of humor to be funny. All right? I would gladly appreciate it, right? I would gladly appreciate it if you didn't say that to me no more. There's a lot of men I've met who don't even know how to do that. And it's sad. Really is sad. And then I see a lot of guys who, they say they're going to do something. There's a lot of men, I deal with this a lot too. A lot of men be talking. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and this. And I say, hey, man, you said you was going to do that thing. Remember that thing you said you're going to do? Nah, man, I just dropped it, man. It's just too hard, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just too hard, man. Just too hard. That's the problem. I've seen that a lot of men can't embrace challenges, and challenges are a part of manhood. You can't get around it. You can't get away from it. I mean, what I do with Choosing Your Freedom, man, this is hard. Navigating as a Christian in the mental health space while trying to keep my faith, while acknowledging the science, while acknowledging my faith in Bible verses and going through my own past religious trauma, which I'll get into that for another video. It's a lot. I can't hold you, man. It's a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot to navigate through. And it can feel very lonely. It can feel very daunting too. Like, dang, like ain't nobody going through any of this stuff. So then, a lot of men, they don't open up because they stay in their head. They have that feeling of, I feel as if no one knows what I'm going through. I feel as if nobody understands me. I feel as if nobody wants to talk to me. I feel ugly, disgusting, used, misabused, all kinds of things. Because a lot of Christian men don't been through a lot of stuff. And we don't have the proper conflict resolution skills to navigate what we done been through. A lot of men tend to be a little bit more sensitive than others. Now, I'm not picking. I'm not trying to start an argument here. But some men, they do take things a little bit too seriously. So sometimes, you got to pull them to the side and be like, hey, man, I don't think this was that deep. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but, where's this coming from? You want to have that conversation. You don't want to just say, you got to toughen up and stop being a B word. Trust me, that never works. Never works. The bro speech, it gets guys going. I won't lie to you. It gets guys going, but it just gets them going. It doesn't bring them anywhere. It just gets them going. It gets them all the way up here, and then it's like, all right, what's the next step? You roar them up. Roar, yeah. All right. Jesus is the ultimate bro. Man, you gotta have fun when you're doing this stuff. But it's just like, what's the next step? You know what I mean? Like, you have so many male ministries, and that's what I've seen. I know the common theme is so much going on, right? Just so much going on, but nothing, there's no next step. So it's like, for example, right? You got step number one, you get the guys in, you start addressing their feelings, their emotions, you start addressing things like navigating through church hurt, navigating confrontation. What's another thing they talk about in male ministries? Not hearing from God, that's always another one. So just point, right? So you get all these points. So we'll leave that right over there. However, you address all these things within about what? 2, 3, maybe even 4 days, right? About 4 days or so. Anywhere between 2 to 4 days, okay? You've addressed all of these points, okay? But what's the next step? Men are always going to talk about practicality. And a lot of these male ministries in the Christian faith fail to talk about this. Okay, they fail to talk about this. So you go from all of these talking points that I just mentioned, and now you got to navigate. See what I'm doing? Slowly but surely navigate. Now you got to have small groups, okay? Now you got to have Bible studies. You got to have accountability, and the accountability you need to show up for each other, okay? Because if you're going to do life with somebody, you got to show up for that person. And then, what are the common excuses? I'm too busy. The wife and the kids. It's my job. This is going on. That's going on. And also those hidden addictions, It's a lot to navigate through. You saw how I did the little line and I just went moving? It is a slow process when it comes to opening up with men. It's a slow process building a brotherhood. Notice how I said earlier, 4 months, 4 consistent long months of testing my patience. It was hard getting the men to open up. It was getting hard to have the men show up. But they're showing up. Are they exchanging numbers? I would hope so. But I think that's going to take another couple months. I think that's the problem when you're helping out men who battle with mental health issues, addiction, bad hurts, bad hangups, a lot of stuff that they've navigated through in life. Men are looking for a brotherhood. I'm not saying you got to text a person every single day, but once every other week, once a week, even just, hey, checking in on you. Hey, I don't know what everybody going through, but I'm just proud of y'all. Believe it or not, I've been seeing this a lot, especially from a black male perspective. A lot of black men didn't grow up with a dad. A lot of black men grew up with terrible siblings. A lot of us as men, we don't even know nothing about one another, to be honest with you. We don't know nothing about one another. We don't even ask each other no questions. It's sad, but it is true. So you got to be careful with people. There's a song lyric called "Take Time with a Wounded Hand." Okay? Take time with a wounded hand. Let's break this down. Wounded. What does it mean to be wounded? It means to be broken. It means to be abused. I work in the addiction space, the life coaching space, the recovery space. I'm in the sober space myself. I'm in active recovery myself, or they would call me a recovering addict. I don't like that terminology, but that's what they refer to me as. I refer to myself more as a child of God, but That's just the reality. Okay. So what I'm looking at is this. Here's what I've been seeing, right? What I've been seeing is that when you're going through so much life, when you're going through life, when you're going through trials and tribulations, you really do have to take it one day at a time. When you're dealing with wounded people, right? When you're dealing with wounded people, I'm talking to y'all right now. If you're wounded, consider yourself to be wounded, or you don't want to say it out loud, or even in the comment section, or whatever the case may be. If you've just gone through a lot in life, you know what I mean? You just gone through a lot in life, just a lot of turmoil, a lot of torture. You just feel as if you just don't fit in. Like you're that Christian man. You got them A.W. Tozer vibes, man. You the saint that feels as if he has to walk alone. Okay? You're the saint that must walk alone. Okay? It's a lot. It can be daunting. It can be scary. It can be confusing. It could just be, it could just be so doggone lonely. It could be so lonely. Okay? You have to give yourself some grace. You got to be patient with yourself. Rome was not, I repeat, Rome was not built in a day. Okay? That's the reality. Every man navigating through something. So you got to be patient with them. Just got to be patient out here. So what I've been seeing, right? The effects of not opening up. A couple that I've listed here are overly paranoid and skeptical. These are the two ones I want to focus on. There's a whole laundry list of things, but being overly paranoid and skeptical. What I've been seeing is that guys who don't open up, who become overly paranoid and skeptical, as soon as they go to a ministry, man, it's always just, man, here we go again with another Christian ministry. They're going to have us speaking in tongues, and they're going to have us waking up early. They're going to treat it like boot camp. They're not going to let us have no fun. They don't even know what fun even is. They don't want us just to relax and chill, even just let our hair down. You know what I mean? They're going to judge me for having long hair. They're going to judge me with this, that, and the other. I don't even want to show up. I don't even want to show up. Nah, man, I don't want to do that no more. Because I be meeting guys, man. We had a summit about a couple months back. And we was reaching out to guys. And we thought that a lot of guys were going to show up. And then there were certain guys, they ain't show up. And I was like, God damn, what the heck happened? And I think, in my personal opinion, they were overly skeptical and overly paranoid, because it wasn't like it was a lot of money. I'll just keep it real with you. It was about $50. $50 for 2 days. That's $25 for 2 days. That ain't a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. But here's the thing about it, man. When you're navigating through life and you're navigating through this space, as a Christian man, I've had to realize this. There's a lot of things that men go through that we don't oftentimes talk about. So you probably ask me, what do you do? Be patient with men. That's all. You got to be patient with men. All right? If you're doing any kind of coaching, if you're an accountability partner, if you got a man that doesn't open up, if you're a woman that's going to be watching this and you're just wondering, why is it that my man doesn't open up? You got to be patient. You got to learn how to be patient. You know, don't say what's wrong with you. Please don't say that. You know, oftentimes it's not wise to ask somebody what's wrong with them. Unless they've, you know, I'm gonna scratch that. Don't ever ask nobody what's wrong with you. Don't ever ask anybody what's wrong with them. Because a man is thinking in his head, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay? I don't know what's going on with me. I've had to survive. I'm trying just to navigate through life, and I'm trying to navigate through survival mode. But everybody that's telling me to navigate through survival mode, right? They take me along, and then boom, they drop me. Because I said the wrong words, the wrong phrases, I didn't wear the right mask, I didn't say the right words. So a lot of men, they internalize that. They internalize it a lot. Okay? So you got to be patient. Learn how to understand. Don't be so critical. Don't be so quick to respond. Listen. Say things along the lines of, I understand where you're coming from. I'm here if you need me. So when you say X, Y, and Z, is that what you mean? Those are the kind of things that you do. You don't say what's wrong with you. you need to read the Bible more. You're going to die a spiritual death. It's your trauma, it's your abuse. You just need to get over it or pull it up by your bootstraps. The conversation will be shut down if you do that. So that's all I got for today, man. Take care. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section, man. But until next time, deuce.